So your research talks about an architecture of the everyday for Gaza. That sounds a rather clever phrase, but isn't architecture a bit of a luxury when you're living hand to mouth, in an impoverished and blockaded society?
Actually, architecture in Gaza is mainly based on necessity. We had a foreigner who visited Gaza for the first time, and he said, "Wow, what a nice grey buildings you have." He thought that it's a construction boom happened in Gaza suddenly. Actually, because due to the economic situation, the poor economic situation, and the unstable economic society over there, and we do have the blockades since the last 10 years, and the frequent attacks from our neighbors, the cousins, and some fireworks coming in Gaza. So it's mainly based on necessity. So most of the buildings are grey in color. There are no plasters from outside. It's this kind of incremental building which is responding to the sociocultural and sociocultural society. We do have the extended family system where I'm living with my grandparents with their children, my parents with their grandchildren, my children. So it's this extended family system. So we are living all together at the same building. So it's mainly based on necessity and it's based on the everyday life. So my research is focusing mainly on this mapping for the sociocultural issues.
Okay, so architecture is important, but what is your problem with foreign aid, international aid? A lot of aid goes into Gaza to help the people. Is it misdirected in terms of architecture?
I'm afraid to say that they are losing the most important factor. I worked actually with 2 international NGOs in the last 10 or 11 years. So it's about copying solutions from other places. With a great respect to Somalia, to Nigeria, to India, but Gaza is totally different. For example, in 2008, 2009, they proposed the mud shelter solution based on Hassan Fatih architecture for the poor. But the mud shelter is only a ground floor. You could not add another floor, the first or the second floor. In 2012, I had got a phone call from a civil engineer saying that there is a solution for the housing crisis. It's the sandbag shelter. So I told him, please, sandbag shelter is an idea that the Iranian architect Nader Khalili proposed to NASA, the space agency, to build the first shelter on the moon. But this is not this is not the moon. This is Gaza. So in 2014. Another idea, which is the wooden shelter, and one of my colleagues, by the way, she's from Brookes, and she was the coordinator of that project, and she mentioned that you do have a lot of forests in Gaza. I told her, no, I'm Palestinian, I'm living in Gaza, there are no forests. So we have to admit that we are copying, or the international society are copying this kind of transitional solution from one place to another. So we have to learn from the mistakes and not to repeat them again. So my message is very, very simple, that we have to learn from the people themselves. We have to give them a voice, to show this kind of necessity, because after the trauma you are offering them a food parcel, so they will accept it. You are offering them a mud shelter, they will accept it, because it's based on take it or leave it. No, we have to include them within the design process. We have to give them an ear based on their daily necessity and requirements.
Now, you're talking about extended families, therefore bigger living space. Is that a practical problem, that you need foundations if you're going up floors and so on, and most international agencies just send you a container or something?
Exactly. This is the problem. The container, which is, it's not suitable for living in the summer. It's very hot. So exactly as you mentioned, that the Palestinian father will invest in the foundation. He will build a ground floor with a strong foundation. Even he will sell the gold of his wife in order to construct the most suitable thing. So after a couple of years, maybe after 10, 15 or 20 years, when his children are growing up, he will add another floor. So you will see, it's very easy to notice that we do have the building, columns are coming and steel bars are coming. I'm calling them columns of hope, because it's easy to read the story of the building itself, this kind of incremental, and there is still hope that he will add another floor, another second floor, 3 floor, in order to have all his children under his umbrella. So it's unique. It's there in Greece and other Mediterranean country, but when it comes to Gaza, it's mainly based on the necessity. So you could imagine that after the destruction of such houses, they are going to build it again, because they learned from what happened previously. Container solution, the mud house solution is not workable anymore. So the people, they have learned, so they only need the support of the international donor society in order to provide them with a decent shelter.
Okay.
Thank you.